for me, that goes back to the mindset that I'm comfortable in living in, that work ethic mentality. I think that fits it. But yeah, there's no doubt year three is always a big year in these contracts and timing wise. Everybody knows that. But I'm not going to put any added pressure on myself. There's no need for that because if I win, good things will happen. Good things will happen for our team and the guys around me, and that's the most important part. So if I play better, that's why quarterback is one of those positions. It's the hardest in sports. If I play better, our team's going to do better. So I put that pressure on myself, and so it doesn't matter what year it is. I have to play better each year.
I want to follow up on what I think Nate asked you. Everyone gauges year three. It's kind of a measuring stick. Some guys have made it to the Super Bowl by year three. Is that unfair to you in a way? I mean, those guys didn't play for three different head coaches in 3 years.
No, it's not an excuse for me. I said, I always have, the best quality about a quarterback is raising the, productivity and the level of the guys around him. So it doesn't matter what's going on. If I do my job and try and do that and accomplish that, then I'm playing quarterback at a high level. So, year three, but the goal every year is to make it to the Super Bowl. If you don't set that goal, then you're playing for the wrong reasons. You're not playing to win. So it is what it is. Like I said, it's not an excuse.
Hey, D-Man, for whatever the reason, you don't want to make a judgment on just one comment or one press conference or one question, he looks so much more relaxed today than he has at any time that I can think of in his first 2 years here. Am I making that up?
No, I don't think you're off base at all, Les. I've said about the Browns, show me, don't tell me, especially after I really fell for the hype going into the 2019 season. But it's difficult to listen to the Bake Show and watch him and in this interview in that setting and not be optimistic, not feel like he's turned a corner. I think that the first year success, which was so robust, to include the NFL rookie TD passing record, I think that got to his head a little bit. And then that combination of having a coach who was kind of his buddy more so than his coach, it led to a lot of difficulty in 2019. But it seems like now you're back to the business of the game, and Mayfield recognizes that his career is on the line. I mean, it's not an overstatement to say his career is on the line this year.
Yeah, how many other teams do you think are looking at him as a potential franchise quarterback for their teams? And the answer is probably none of them. But I think you hit it on the head, the difference between Stefanski and his relationship with Baker versus what it was with Freddie Kitchens. ESPN's Football Power Index projects the Browns' 2020 season. Let's take a look at their projected wins. 8.2 wins, which is not good enough to make the playoffs. 46% chance to reach the playoffs with that record. Are the Browns a playoff team? Well, Dominique Foxworth of ESPN says, I think they missed the playoffs in part because the division is so very tough. The Ravens obviously are the Ravens. Then you have the Steelers, whose defense almost got them into the playoffs last year. And if they can bring back some version of Ben Roethlisberger that is somewhere close to what he was, I think that team is very good also. Are the Browns a playoff team? Well, Ryan Clark of ESPN says, no, I think they're out. They're right on the outside of the playoffs this year. Well, every team. I mean, there's so many playoff teams, it shouldn't be that hard to do. When you watch the way the team performed, it's going to be hard to project Baker-Mayfield to be much better just because you change head coaches and many of the skill positions are the same. No, Ryan, that's exactly why you think they're going to be a little bit better. Just the coaching change right there should be enough to make them better. You agree or disagree?
I mean, I love Ryan Clark. He's one of my favorite analysts, so I don't want to, get after him on that. But I hear what you're saying, Les, as well. And it is all about proving it with Mayfield. I mean, we could talk all we want about, all right, it looks good about the head coaching change, the culture change, from sort of Animal House to, football 101, more of a business than it was a party last year, or so it seemed from the outside. But it's all going to depend on what we see on Sundays as opposed to what we talk about leading into the season. But here's my point, though, Les. Go ahead. I don't want people on the outside to have high expectations for the Browns. Keep the expectations low. Don't build them up into something they haven't proven to be. Go ahead and tell me they're not going to make the playoffs. Tell them they're not going to make the playoffs. We know what drives Mayfield. What drives him the most, Les?
When
When he's the underdog.
When somebody
All right?
thinks he can't get it done.
Right. Last year, he wasn't the underdog. He was the darling of the offseason. Everybody had him pegged to take the Browns deep into the playoffs. And he and the rest of the team fell flat. So go ahead and dog the Browns. Don't give them any credit and let them rise above the expectations.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis Manoloff is with us tomorrow night. Mary Kay Cabot of cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer will join us. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, east, west, and south. South, of course, is Macedonia. You got Lakeland Boulevard, that's in Euclid. And West 140th, of course, the original store, Northeast Factory Direct and northeastfactorydirect.com. We'll listen in on more of what Baker Mayfield had to say. He'll talk about Odell Beckham and Jarvis-Landry. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate NatureStone's 30-year anniversary with a free NatureStone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making NatureStone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
For me, that goes back to the mindset that I'm comfortable in living in, that work ethic mentality. I think that fits it. But there's no doubt year 3 is always a big year in these contracts and timing wise. Everybody knows that. But I'm not going to put any added pressure on myself. There's no need for that, because if I win, good things will happen. Good things will happen for our team and the guys around me, and that's the most important part. So if I play better, that's why quarterback is one of those positions. It's the hardest in sports. If I play better, our team's going to do better. So I put that pressure on myself, and so it doesn't matter what year it is. I have to play better each year.
I want to follow up with what I think Nate asked you. Everyone gauges year 3. It's kind of a measuring stick. Some guys have made it to the Super Bowl by year 3. Is that unfair to you in a way? I mean, those guys didn't play for 3 different head coaches in 3 years.
No, it's not an excuse for me. I said, I always have, the best quality about a quarterback is raising the productivity and the level of the guys around him. So it doesn't matter what's going on. If I do my job and try and do that and accomplish that, then I'm playing quarterback at a high level. So year 3, but the goal every year is to make it to the Super Bowl. If you don't set that goal, then you're playing for the wrong reasons. You're not playing to win. So it is what it is. Like I said, it's not an excuse. No, I think what we're doing right now in these Zoom meetings and these installs will create a great foundation for scheme-wise of being on the same page. And I've enjoyed kind of sitting in and listening on some receiver meetings with Coach O'Shea. He's a very sharp guy as well. But, I mean, those guys are working extremely hard after their surgeries for the rehab process, and they look really good. They say they feel really good. And it it appears that way. It's just a different mindset going into it. And I think, like I said, I think they went back to the basics. They're ready to take over, and it's their time now. They know that. They know that we only have so many more opportunities together. So they're going to do everything for each other, and I'm looking forward to see the productivity they have.
Yeah, Baker, you were talking about Odell and Jarvis just a second ago. How big of an issue was that for you, for the offense, those guys just basically being hurt to varying degrees throughout the entire season? And how important is it for this offense reaching its potential, those guys being right, and you guys being able to practice every day instead of sporadically throughout the season?
I think, them being a little bit banged up, well, not a little bit, they had to have surgery. So, no, it definitely hindered them physically, obviously, but the mental part of it, the frustrations that came from that, I think affected it more. Because, if you don't feel like you're able to play at a certain level, that's frustrating. That's really frustrating if you're not able to physically do the things you're normally capable of doing. So for them, I feel that frustration, but like I said earlier, they're taking advantage of this time to get better. And I'm looking forward to see what they do this year.
That's Baker-Mayfield. I like that guy. If he can play. What do you think, D-Man? Same thing as the last segment, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love what you just said. I like that guy. We shall see, but sign me up for a humble Baker-Mayfield.
All right, you ready for this? You know Brent Sobolewski? You follow him at all on the Bleacher Report?
A little bit.
Well, he's going to compare Nick-Chubb to Jim Brown. You ready for this?
Oh, dear.
I want to stop him. Yeah, that's how I feel. Stop it, Brent. Don't ruin your credibility. He's comparing the first two seasons of Jim Brown and Nick-Chubb. Let's take a look, see what he has to say. This is Brent Sobolewski, and he's talking about the fine running back for the Cleveland Browns. Nick-Chubb is on the verge of becoming the NFL's best running back and the Browns' most unstoppable ball carrier since Jim Brown. Chubb now sits on the precipice of something special because the Browns have set the table perfectly to launch him into superstardom. Life should be much easier in 2020 and beyond, thanks to new coach Kevin Stefanski, his system, and an improved surrounding cast. Stefanski brings both a commitment to the ground game and a scheme ideally suited to Chubb's strength. All right, here you go. Let's compare the first two seasons, Jim Brown and Nick Chubb. And D-Man, before I do this, the opinions expressed by Brent Sobolewski are not those necessarily of More Sports and Les-Levine. First of all, Jim Brown played 12 games a year in his first 2 years, while Nick Chubb played 16. So that's 4 in each year. That's 8 more games. So add those carries and that yardage and those touchdowns to Jim Brown, and you just close the book on it. However, we'll go through the formality of it. 459 carries for Brown to 490 for Chubb. 2469 yards versus 2490. Looks close, but it's 8 games less. 5.5 yards per carry. It's an NFL record. He holds the NFL record for the most yards per carry. And 28 touchdowns for Brown, 18 for Chubb. I understand the game is different today, but come on, don't embarrass us. Which, by the way, I'm going to bring up to you, and we call, where Mike Bacon is, we call that the God Mike because he can speak over us and tell us. Mike, is the God Mike working tonight? Yes, it is. All right, I'm going to pose this. This can be a Facebook question forever. If you just count the games in the games they played with the Cleveland teams, and LeBron James obviously played more than half of his games with the Cavaliers than the rest of the league. So you take Jim Brown, who played his whole career with the Browns, and Bob Feller played his whole career with the Indians. Which was the best player for the Cleveland Indians in history for what they did with Cleveland? Bob Feller, Jim Brown, or LeBron James? Each one has one championship with the Browns or with the Cleveland team. All right, let's start with God first. Mike, what are you
talking about?
You got to say who's the best player in the history of Cleveland sports. Not some guy who came at the end of his career. I'm talking about a guy who significantly played.
What does Mike say?
Mike, God, what do you say? All right, he's going with if I didn't see him, it didn't happen. So he's going with Jim Brown. So if you think it's Bob Feller, you'd say, well, I never actually saw him pitch. You can't vote for him? I mean, I've never seen Babe Ruth that I know of, and I'd vote for him as the greatest baseball player ever. No response to what I think is the greatest Cleveland sports question ever. It is a great question. Let's see if we can use that on Facebook one of these days. D-man?
Les, it is a great question. I guess I'll go with Jim Brown, but I can make a case for all three of them.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing. You think about the old Mount Rushmore group, recognizing that the real Mount Rushmore doesn't represent the four greatest, presidents of all time. But if you're going to do the way we do it in today's day, the Mount Rushmore of Cleveland, you have four spots. Obviously, Brown, Feller, and LeBron occupy three of them. Who would be your fourth?
Jesse Owens.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking Jesse Owens or Paul Brown.
Yeah, got to go one of those two. God, what do you think about that? He's thinking.
Well, I mean, it's good that we have.
Wait, hold on, D-man, hold on. You're thinking of a season? What season are you thinking of? You mean the best season for one Cleveland player? Oh, Albert Bell 1995 season, if you're going one season. That's hard to argue. 52-50, that's tough. In 144 games?
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis-Manoloff is with us, Mary Kay Cabot, tomorrow night. Explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 career courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tric-edu for more information. We'll come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week, and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Kevin's obviously an extremely sharp guy, and he's able to relate to everybody, and that's one of the best parts about him, being around him so far, and just hearing his message. It's everything he does is with a purpose. It's a very deliberate message, and he has everybody believing in that on the staff. And so I think that's how the foundation should be set, and he's doing an unbelievable job of that. And then scheme wise with him of establishing the run and everything he did in Minnesota, and then what that does for the rest of the game, opening it up in the play action, the pass game, and also just controlling the clock. They were a very efficient team for the past few years, and so and that's kudos to him.
How do you feel your skill set matches what Stefanski's offense is, and how it brings out the best for you?
I think it matches up very nicely. What being in control, getting checks in the run game, just being efficient. And last year I know was not a great year for turnovers, but I've always prided myself on not turning the ball over. And so that's something the conversations we've had is when we do take our shots, it has to be smart decisions, and there's nothing wrong with a good incompletion every once in a while. So the scheme wise, I think my skill set matches up to that very well. And then also how he's coaching it. I think it's going to be a great fit.
There you have it. It'll be interesting to see how he meshes with his new coach, Kevin Stefanski. Let's turn our attention to the other side of the ball. That is the defense, of course. Touchdown Wire breaks down the Browns' defense. Let's take a look at what they have to say. They have it as the Browns ranking number 21 in the top of the second third. Cleveland was loaded with this is from Touchdown Wire. Cleveland was as loaded with talent as any team, but they fell from 14th to 26th in defensive efficiency in the second half of the season, as the offense similarly fell apart. The good news is there are pieces with which to build. For new defensive coordinator Joe Woods, Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams are two of the best in the league as young quarterbacks. Defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi remains an underrated force, and two LSU draftees, safety Grant Delpit and linebacker Jacob Phillips, should help the middle of the defense. What do you think about that rating of about 2/3 down the list as far as the defense is concerned?
Well, Les, I can tell you one of the reasons that the ranking dropped in the second half of the season was Myles-Garrett's suspension.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, no longer in your lineup.
And they don't even mention that.
Yeah, I think that had a ripple effect. It wasn't just, failure to get to the quarterback by the front of the Browns. It was, when that happens, when you can't get to the quarterback fast enough, then that stresses the linebackers, stresses the DBs. So one guy, when he's as good as Myles-Garrett is, one guy missing from that unit can affect everybody.
Absolutely correct. Now, you look at it, the Browns now still have money to spend. They still have some needs. Do you expect anything to happen in the next couple of weeks?
I know. I was going to say, I know what's coming with you, Les, because you and I have mentioned this guy seemingly every week, Jadeveon-Clowney. Back in the news today, Adam Schefter on ESPN Cleveland on the radio show for them. And Schefter was quoted as saying that if money were the only issue, Clowney would be with the Browns. Or I'm paraphrasing what Schefter said.
Right.
In other words,
It's
Schefter
not
was
just
saying
money.
that the Browns have offered the most money,
Right.
and Clowney's not here. So there must be other things in play. And, obviously he'd be a nice name to add to the mix. But the questions about Clowney have included motivation, how motivated is he going to be once he gets a certain amount of money. And so I don't know that I would want Clowney if he doesn't want to be here.
Well, let me ask you this. This is the age-old question in sports and evaluating what money is worth as far as positions are worth. If they like him and the money is there, as opposed to if they like him except there's a couple of question marks they have, why should that change the money? If the money is right, the attitude is wrong. In other words, if the attitude passes mustard with them, the money shouldn't make a difference. You either want them or you don't want them.
True. Maybe Jadeveon-Clowney is holding out for more money somewhere else. Maybe he thinks he can get more cash somewhere else, and until and unless he does, he's going to make the Browns wait. That's possible. who am I to tell Jadeveon-Clowney what to do? But it certainly sounds like an attractive situation. You get to be a bookend of myles-garrett, and you get to be on a young, developing defense. I don't see how he could hold anything against this coaching staff, because the coaching staff is relatively new. Wasn't around for a lot of this, the terrible years the Browns have had since '99. Definitely wasn't, and even last year, most of the coaching staff wasn't around.
Think about what you said about what the edges would be on both sides of the line, with myles-garrett on one and Jadeveon-Clowney on the other. How do you even, if you're an offensive coordinator, what are you thinking about? Everything.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we'll see wherever Clowney signs, assuming he wants to play more in the NFL, wherever he plays in 2020, we'll see how good he actually is, because we know that injuries and other factors have held him back to as far as achieving the level that many thought he would achieve. But still, Clowney on a bad day is better than most defensive ends, and he wouldn't have to be the main guy. We know that Myles is the main guy, and then inside you've got Richardson and Ogunjobi. So all of a sudden that defensive line looks great. Now, I'll say this. Last year, I thought Olivier Vernon was going to be the complement to Myles, and that didn't work out. Not only did you not get Vernon at a high level for most of the season, but you lost myles-garrett to a self-inflicted suspension.
All right. Do you think, they won't say this publicly, but do you think that when there's a staff meeting, or at least the top guys on offense and the top guys on defense, when they meet with Kevin-Stefanski, do you think they kind of giggle and say, I had no idea these guys are as good as I think they're going to be? Do you think that, I mean, knowing the history of the Browns since '99, they've had to have questions coming in, but when they actually see these guys, although they're seeing it on virtual stuff, but wouldn't you think they're even surprised how good some of these people are?
You're talking about both sides of the ball, the team in general?
Yeah. I think that when you fire a head coach, there's a whole bunch of reasons why you do, and then you leave scraps sometimes for the next guy, or the team blows itself up. That hasn't happened here. They've kept a lot of things intact, and there's a lot of talent still left over for Stefanski to pick up on.
I mean, you would think that's how he sees it. If we are to believe the back of the football cards, you've got Chubb, Hunt, Mayfield, Landry, Hooper. All of those guys are quality players who've done things in the league already, and the Bake Show. I mean, again, 2018 NFL rookie passing record, 27 touchdowns. So Mayfield's done a little bit in the league. And then you add the potential of Njoku, and maybe even Higgins emerging, or Peoples-Jones. I mean, it just feels like the cupboard is full when it comes to the skill positions. But unfortunately for the Browns, they don't play in a vacuum. They play in the AFC North. As that analyst said, the Ravens are saying the same thing, Les. They're saying, well, look at our skill positions. And we have the reigning MVP in Lamar Jackson. And we're the two-time defending division champs. And then the Steelers say, well, look at us. We've got guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, and we have Ben Roethlisberger coming back, who's a two-time Super Bowl champ. So, and even the Bengals could say, we're going to be much improved with Joe Burrow. Every team could say they have really good players, and that's why you can't wait to see what happens on the field.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis Manoloff with this WTAM 1100. Mary Kay Cabot will be here tomorrow night. That'll be on Thursday. If you want to reach us now before the show comes to an end, it's 216-575-0403. Northeast Factory Direct, East, West, and South. They've got 4 great locations and the great website. You want cabinets, they've got them. You anything for the home at the guaranteed lowest price for the same object anywhere in Northeast Ohio. It's northeastfactorydirect.com. Sokolowski's University, and check out their website when you get a chance. They'll let you know what their plans are and they're the oldest family-owned and operated restaurant in all of Northeast Ohio, Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. We're coming back in a moment. We'll take a look at sports history and Les-Levine history and more. More Sports and Les-Levine continues, powered by cleveland.com.
Your home is your most important investment, and your basement is the go-to part of your home. It's your children's rec room. It's where your family and friends spend time together. It's much more than just a basement. Now is the perfect time to add beauty and value to your home with an authentic NatureStone basement floor. And every NatureStone floor comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. For a limited time, get our exclusive mini pearl stone for as low as $2.99 a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history, 1949. After winning the World Series in 48, the Indians get off to a slow start in 49, going 12-17. Bill Veeck, the owner, calls for a second opening day. Great idea. The Tribe wins that day 4-0 over the White Sox, but they do finish third that year, 8 games behind the Yankees as the winner. Now we'll take a look at this date in Les-Levine history, 1951. Les goes to his first Indians game. The PA announcer says, now batting for the Indians, Allie Clark. That year, Clark played in 10 games, or played 3 games rather, got 3 hits and 10 at bats with a home run and a couple of doubles. Allie Clark never heard from again from the Cleveland Indians. D-Man, you remember the first batter you ever saw, or first game you ever saw?
I don't. I'm pretty sure I went to a game before opening day of 75, but the first actual hit that I remember in my brain is
Frank
Robinson's
yeah.
home run, yes.
Yeah, it wasn't sullied by the red uniforms?
No.
It was a great moment. It doesn't get enough attention as one of the great moments in baseball history. And it really should be up there, maybe the top 15, 20.
Yeah.
I mean, when all things are considered.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Historically significant swing, and just the fact that Robbie was what he was.
All right, we have the Facebook question of the day today. We'll ask you first, D-Man. Baker Mayfield addressed the media today. As you know, if you could address Baker, what would you say to him?
Listen to your coaches. Just buy in to what Stefanski and his coaching staff are telling you to do. Execute the game plan. Block out the noise. And by the way, some of that noise might come from your skill position players who are demanding the ball.
Right.
So,
but you got to be the leader. You got to be the leader of that team.
It's all about the team. It's not about individual glory. And let's go win some games.
All right, a couple of responses on Facebook. Larry Pantages says, watch the film of the 80s Browns offense with Brian Sipe. Study how that passing attack balanced the run and confused the defense. Compare Greg and Mike Pruitt with Chubb and Hunt, and compare your receivers with Ozzie, Logan, Rucker, and Ricky Feature and Calvin Hill coming off the bench. Ted Moon says, leave your 2019 and 2018 seasons in the past. Learn from letting yourself and the team down and your success equally. Listen and learn from your new coaches. Don't take what the media says, except More Sports and Les-Levine hosts and guests. And some fans say something about you personally. Dennis Davis says, smile, be contrite, let your play do the talking. Dave Shoup, continue the low profile. Give the press nothing. Rick May, fewer commercials, more productivity. Hard to argue with that stuff. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We have the voicemail of Truth and Reason. If you want to leave us a message, you see us live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But if you can't get us then, you can get us anytime throughout the day, including weekends, at 216-200-6650. That's the voicemail of Truth and Reason. We'll come back one more time. Dennis-Manoloff with us. He's got a gig tomorrow night on WTAM 1100. We'll take a break, come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively, powered by cleveland.com.
Your home is your most important investment, and your garage is the entrance to your home. It's where your kids come in from school. It's where your family and friends gather together. It's much more than just a garage. Now is the perfect time to add beauty and value to your home with an authentic NatureStone garage floor. And every NatureStone floor comes with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty. For a limited time, get our exclusive gray-brown blend stone for as low as $2.99 a square foot, plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's NatureStone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, there you see her, Mary Kay Cabot, covering the Browns on cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. You see us from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, exclusively here on cleveland.com. Let's check out birthdays for today, the 27th. Pete Moss, 1947. The Big Hurt, one of the great baseball nicknames, Frank Thomas, Jeff Bagwell, Todd Hundley, Jose Barrios, and Daniel Jones, quarterback of the Giants, celebrating birthdays today. Time for some. You want to grade some How Come Quickies? Let's do mine first. How come the first time you went to Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, the grass looked really green despite sitting on top of sewage from Lake Erie? Now, Mr. Gullible, don't think you can cross the line just because I did. Until it says More Sports and Mr. Gullible, you got to let me have that decision. Big Ed says, how come I did a week's worth of cardio after walking into a spider web? Couldn't get out of it. Cleveland Spiders were the first team to ever have a website. I don't know if you knew that. Mr. Gullible says, how come when I took up fencing for a hobby, my neighbor told me to put it down? Don't take offense. Mr. Gullible, you know I can't use the next one. Don't even try it. I know I'm not as sharp as I used to be, but don't try it. My goodness. John Patrick, be like John Patrick. How come the most humble guy? I'm the most humble guy you'll ever meet. Who wins tonight? D-Man, who wins tonight?
Any one of Gullible's, because listen, last week he weighed in during one of my shows on TAM.
Oh.
He texted in with a correction and to correct me, and I'm glad he did. So it was great to know that Mr. Gullible.
All right, so I'm not the only guy he corrects.
No, he got me, and it was very important that he did.
All right, you can't let him do that too much. You got to let him do it every once in a while, but you can't make you and I cannot be made to be look bad by Mr. Gullible. Right. All right,
that's the other side of the coin.
You got a minute to spew out there. Go get it.
Well, as we did at the top, MLB, BPA, get your act together. But since we last talked, less progress on the NBA and the NHL fronts of their seasons resuming. They seem to be doing it relatively quietly without all the rancor. I like what the NBA's proposal is by and large. I wish it would have been Western Conference in Vegas, Eastern Conference in Orlando. But if you're going to put them all in Orlando, you can't go with 30 teams. It looks like it's going to be 20, the top 8 seeds in each, and then the next best records, 9 through 12. So I'm encouraged that the NHL and the NBA appear to be on track to resume their seasons.
I was really surprised when the NHL said they were going to have so many teams involved. Then I heard somebody explain that they want to get the big market teams in there who wouldn't qualify for a playoff spot. They want the Rangers, they want Montreal, they want Toronto. So that makes a lot more sense to expose their franchises.
Right.
All right.
Hear you.
We got to go. Enjoy the WTAM tomorrow night. That's from 7 until what? 7 until 10 or 11?
7 to 10.
You got it. That'll be tomorrow night. Thanks to Dennis-manoloff, Mary Kay Cabot tomorrow night. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.